What a joy it is to be here. We're going to have a lot of fun. Do you know what? I'm a retired professor. And when I used to go to my classes, even at, believe it or not, 8 a.m. in the morning, I taught economics and management. The students would be on their feet giving me an ovation. And of course, I'm from Louisiana, and we have a little more juice than people in California, and we're a little more excitable. And I'm thrilled being here, but I have to tell you, basically, I thought your response to my coming was at best modest. And I'm used to a different type of audience. And two things struck me. First of all, I thought, this is a very demanding audience. They're sophisticated. Right. And they expect you to do something. So you have to do something to earn this applause that you want. Incidentally, how many of you have cats? Have you ever heard a cat say, all men are snakes? Or no. Cats never complain because cats get what they want. Right? And they're clear about what they want. And what I want is an ovation. No, 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 no. I am not a mendicant. I am not a beggar. And the second thing that struck me right away is that no one probably ever taught you how to do an ovation. So we start off today, and this is what we do. Everyone do, as I say, I'm a teacher. You put your hands together like this, please, everyone. Put your hands together like this, and we generate an ovation by putting our hands together with enthusiasm, big word, and alacrity. The skin touches. We multiply the sound, and the chandeliers, if we had them, would swing. All right, now, I want to earn this, and this is called ovation position. And when I say assume the position, this is the position you assume. Take a breath. Okay? Now, I want to do something to earn my ovation. What I'm going to do is you're going to go home and say, I saw Barry Richardson on this glorious day in July do something. He said the alphabet backwards. I see you're not that impressed. The guy did two things at the same time. Not only did he say the alphabet backwards, but he took off his jacket. Two things, the alphabet backwards, and he took off his jacket at the same time. And when he completed the task, we were so energized, we gave him this huge ovation. Are you ready? Assume the position. ZYX WUV TSRQP ON MLK JIHGF EDCBA. Oh, you're so sophisticated. Let me ask you a question, my friends. And here's the question. Is it possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? I heard no. And of course, the answer is no. But the world's filled with people that say no to all sorts of things. Like, no, you can't start that business. Or, no, a woman can't really be an engineer. Or, no, the course is too hard. Is it possible, my friends, to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? Do you see what you've just seen? Do you know if we went to MIT, to the math department, found the brightest people that study space, the mathematics of space, topology, and you ask, is it possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? They would say, no. And what do you say? What did that man do? Give him a round of applause. But you're all so clever. You're all so clever. You think this man somehow, because your brain tells you it is not possible, right, to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends. There must be some chicanery. There must be some trickery. So you tie this guy up and tell him to do it slowly, as if it were on television. So slowly I could go back and look and see what's happening. Is it possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? Watch how slowly he goes. And my helpful little assistant in your left hand pulled one off and one off over here, ever so carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a round of applause. Now, a minute ago, we said it's not possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends. But when I was a student in Minnesota, there was a woman who took a yellow dye and put it into something which we now call margarine and invented what we call margarine. That was not possible. In 1949, again, a woman, after the war, invented the idea of taking hotels out of the city center. That's what a hotel meant. And turning it on the side. What do we call that? A motel. And they said, oh, you can't do that. In fact, sitting here, we said no too early. It's like my mother, who was a Russian immigrant, who was afraid of water, learned to swim when she was 58, and swam across Lake Geneva 2 miles when she was 62. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can do it. All right. But in fact, everyone sitting here in this room could tie a knot without letting go of the ends. Watch. Everyone here could do that. There's a knot. Oh, you cheated. Right? You did. And when the woman did the motel, she cheated. When she turned that margarine, she cheated. We always say they cheated. And, how about the girl coming? Watch this. I'm holding both ends. I tied a knot without letting go of the ends. And you say, oh, isn't that something? And we ask again as we go and we say, my friends, is it possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? Yeah. All right. And now we raise the bar. A demonstration, you may go home and tell your grandchildren. And the question we're asking is this. Is it possible to untie a knot without letting go of the ends? You watch my right hand. You watch my left hand. Watch them slowly. Is it possible? Yes. Watch. Right. How many of you have children? Okay. Let me tell you something that's useful that I didn't learn until I was almost too late. If you have children, it's imperative to do something alone with one child. I had 4 kids, and I said, oh, Jan, Craig, Pam, David, let's go. And we did camping, did everything. And now that I have adult children, when they ask, what do you remember? They always remember, Pam, when we were alone and you covered me with leaves. David remembers we went sailing on your birthday, Dad, you and I, and the boat tipped over and I saved you. They always remember, all right? And if you think about your parents, I'm saying, right? All right, now if I think about my father, a man whom I had terrible relationships with, but now I respect so much because I understand he was an orphan. He never celebrated a birthday. Special kind of guy. But I had a hard time. My father loved me so much, he got me started in magic. And on my 10th birthday, he took me downtown, my first time, to see Blackstone Sr., the magician. And in those days, it was a big show. And he traveled with a train, I don't know how many assistants and animals and all that stuff. And we went up, we had very good seats right in the center. And actually, the big magic frightened me. that as a kid, the first time, it actually scared me. All the stuff going on, I didn't know what it was, the lights and all this. But Mr. Blackstone, probably the best in the world, would step in front of the curtain and would say, I'm only going to do this for the boys and girls in the audience, and the parents, if they choose, may watch. And he did little tricks, and he did little poems, and I remember that. And the thing that changed my life was on that day, my birthday, 10 years old, when Mr. Blackstone did something which was called the airplane cards. And not for your edification, not for your education, but as a way to kind of relive something, I'm going to attempt to do the demonstration that was very dramatic and important for me. And to enjoy this, I want you right now to assume that you're a 10-year-old child sitting in the Chicago theater with a mother, father, aunt, someone who loves you, and this is what happens. Mr. Blackstone asked a little girl to come up and help him. And he asked the little girl to mix these little cards up and to count 10 cards down over here. Mm-hmm. Yep, good. And just count 10 cards down if you could over here. That's okay.
1.
We could do it quietly. That's okay. Thank you. Put them in a little pile. That's good. Thank you. Count them again. Be sure we're over here. He turned to another little girl, and he said, would you be so kind as to count, mix them up again, and take out any 10 cards. These are airplanes. Take out any 10. Give them a good mix, okay? Take out 10. That's good. You can count them in her hand if you want. Good. We have 10. Want to count them again? Out loud, put them down on the table, one at a time.
1.
Get 10.
2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 9. 10.
Okay, help me. Take them in your hand over here. Please stand right over here. Squeeze them together. Squeeze them together. Tell me your first name again.
Olga.
Olga, the gypsy woman. Hi, Olga.
Hi.
I'm Barry. All right. It's imperative now, said Mr. Blackstone, that we never touch. I want you to put one hand on top of, over, yeah. So it's like being in an airplane hangar, 10 cards, right? We have 10 over here.
10.
You take the 10. I want you to give 3 to the lady behind you. And 4 to the young lady next to you over here. And now it's imperative. I want you to fan those cards face up in front of you. And I want you to think of one of those cards, like 7 of hearts, 4 spades. Just think of one. Will you do that? Say it over and over again. I don't want to make you nervous, but I'm going to call on you. So you have to remember your card. You remember your card. You remember your card. You remember your card. Would you collect the cards? That's 3 and 4 are 7 and 3 are 10. Is that correct? Is that correct? Do you want to count them again? Would you come forward?
Yes.
Do you see how Olga's holding her cards between her hands? I want you to hold them just like this. Stand right over here. Stand right over here. Right over here. Ladies and gentlemen, as Mr. Blackstone did, precisely as he did, we are going to make these airplanes move over space and time, but they need your assistance. And he had this nice voice. He stood like this. He said, all right, now, everyone put out your hand like this. Everyone in the room, put your hand out like this and make one airplane, but it's like a little stunt airplane. Make it stunt around. Go up to the rafters, up higher. Come on, come on. Over. Ooh. 1. All right, the second one's like a helicopter. Everyone do it. Put out your hand. It's like a helicopter. Goes around, goes around. 2. The third one's like a jet plane. Zoop! Now, Mr. Blackstone said, he had a deep voice. 3 airplanes went flying over space and time from here to this garage, from that garage. And therefore, we should have 7. And we should have 13. And now comes the hard part. And that is to make the airplanes go back. 1, 2, 3. And you should have 10. And you should have 10. And the parents went, boo. Let's hear it go, boo, boo. The kids loved it because the parents didn't understand. And they started clapping. Hey, we loved it. And they think, oh my goodness, I spent all these money for this great seat and the stupid trick. They really went, boo. Let's hear you. Whoa. And the kids loved it and they applauded. Hey. And Blackstone said, one at a time, count the cards down into my hands, please. 1, 2, it's okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One at a time, count the cards down in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But, my friends, this is not what changed my life. I thought, oh, there must be some trickery. This is the thing. 3 cards were merely thought of, never identified. What card did you think of?
4 of hearts.
The 4 of hearts? What card did you think of? Who had it?
I did. The Ace of Hearts.
The Ace of Hearts. And what card?
The King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, untouched, unseen, 3 airplanes with your assistance, merely thought of, went flying over space and time. The 4 of Hearts, the Ace of Hearts, and the King of Hearts. Is it easier to influence men or women? There's almost unanimity here. All right, a little demonstration. And the demonstration we're about to do is risky. And it involves 5 men and 3 women. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask for information. And my associate, what's your name? Tony winked at me. Tony, you're going to write the letters or numbers.
Okay.
Right in here. Right, but not yet, when you hear him called. Neatly. Okay, not yet. A balloon. Inside of the balloon is a little message. 5 men. We're going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hand the balloon. Look at me. I want a letter. 1 letter. Not yet. A, B, C, D, down through the alphabet. Look at me for a second. When I stamp my hands, you think of 1 letter as we go down. Now, what letter?
M.
M. Move the balloon on, please. Thank you very much. What's your name, please?
Mark.
Mark. I have numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 8, 7, 6. When I stamp my hands, you're going to do 1. Everyone in the audience can think of the number at the same time. 0, 9, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here, number.
8.
8. Pass it on, please, to the 3rd person. Here we go. I want a letter. A, B, C, D. We're going down. W, X, Y, Z. Anywhere up in there. Anywhere. Now, give me a letter.
X. Oh, sorry.
X. 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 Pass. Shake the balloon. Yeah. Yes. I want a number. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Which is easier to influence? Wait, a number. 1 single digit. Not that one. No. Give me the number.
4.
4. Gentleman over here. Tell me your first name.
Frank.
Frank. Moment of truth. No X's. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Look at me, Frank. Give me a number. A letter.
L.
L. Thank you. You're going to be my helper.
Okay.
Put this little cloth over your lap. The balloon. Locked in the balloon. Would you put that down and cover it up with the cloth so nothing can enter? 1 second. How are our letters? If we do it, we have M, B, X, 4, L. Is that right? The people here?
M8.
MH, okay.
Like the
Okay,
number 8.
okay. We're going to try women in a minute. I want you to hold this. Could you open your balloon and give it a shake? Wait, open it up.
Open it up.
Shake so we all can see. And you put it down on your lap and close it up. All sides. Women, let's try women. Tell me your name again.
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay. We've never met.
No.
Mary Kay, I want you to think of a simple geographic kind of design, like a square or circle, something simple. In your mind, can you do it? Look at me. Don't say it, but think of it.
Okay.
Have we have it? Tell me your name.
Mary.
Mary. I want you to help me to think of a simple vegetable like an onion, tomato. I don't know if it's a vegetable, but some vegetable, right? Now, just think of it. Just do it again, but don't say it out loud. Never, okay, just think of it. Here we go. Now, thank you. I would like my friend right here. In a second, I'm just asking you to name any card. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, no, not yet. To yourself. Just name the card. Just to yourself. A pin. Put it on your lap, please. Put the balloon on your lap. Take the pin. Burst the balloon. Oh. Carefully open up the scarf. A little message. I'll take the other material from you. And you're going to come forward.
Okay.
And first the women. Will you open our message up for us? Open all the way up. The other side, is it? What does it say?
The first.
Mind control.
Oh, mind control. The first woman will think of a triangle.
Where's the first woman? What'd you think of?
Square.
Close. Women are hard, right? If we turn that around. I mean, that's close enough. The second one, where's the second woman? What'd you think of?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. What'd I have?
The second woman will visualize a carrot.
How about it, man? How about it? Is this par for the course? Here. A card.
Ace of spades.
Ace of spades.
The third will think of the 7 of hearts.
You would say he's batting 100%, wouldn't you? So I'm not a psychic or a seer or a prophet. What I'm really trying to do is to influence people. And we asked, is it easier to influence women than men? I know not. Will the men stand? Where are the men over here? Will they stand? We're going to call off. We have some. Okay, as we call off the letters, you stand to demonstrate to this august crowd how close we are. By those remain standing. Let's see what happens. What are they?
M.
M. Sit down, please.
8. Continue. X. 4, and L.
Robert Houdin was one of the most famous magicians in the history of the world, a 19th century magician, engineer, wonderful, wonderful performer. He built his own theater. He built his own theater in Paris. And for years, he filled that theater doing remarkable illusions. And two of the things that people came to see, it was like a hot ticket to get. One was the famous bullet catching demonstration. And in this demonstration, he would have a policeman come forward with his own weapon. He would have a bullet marked with a knife, placed in the chamber. His son stood across the stage. He lifted the weapon, shot the weapon off. The boy fell to the floor. Silence. The boy jumped up, a bullet in his teeth, dropped it into a metal canister. Ring, 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 ring. It was the same bullet. The second demonstration, by the way, I need a volunteer tonight. The second demonstration he did was called Magic of Your Mind. And we're attempting to do that right now. And to do this, I'm going to ask gentlemen to open their wallets and remove a bill, remove a dollar bill. Or a dollar bill. Someone else, a dollar bill, just hand me a bill. Anyone hand me a bill? Hand me a bill, please. Hand me a bill, please. Over here, hand me a bill over here, hand me a bill over here. Which one should we take? Take one. Return the other two. May I have that bill? All right, every bill is unique. Look at your bill if you have your bill. There are 8 numbers and 2 letters which make it unlike any other, just like you're unique. You're the snowflake. And every bill, just hold it, keep it shut. Every bill with 8 numbers and 2 letters is its name. So, if I can get some man in his virile voice to help me here. Would you call off the numbers and the letters, please?
K54068766.
Give him a vote of confidence. That was very good. K54068766F. Unique like your fingerprint. Second thing he did, as a way of identifying the bill, is he tore the bill a little bit, and then he had a woman of virtue sign the bill. Would you put a little picture on here or something? Does it right? A little more so you can see it. Real dark, a little more. Nothing dirty. There. Finally, he continued the tear, a bill with a unique number, signed by a woman of virtue, torn off, and he asked a man of integrity to hold. Could you tear that off? Now, what did I just tell you? Or I should. That it's against the law to mutilate a person. And if you do this, it's a federal crime. Three little envelopes. The little bill goes in here. You're going to seal it down for me. 2 other little envelopes. Each one has a little piece of Shreveport paper in it. Seal that one down, seal this one down. And now we're ready to do the stunt. Robert Houdin's stunt, called Magic of the Minds. 3 envelopes. 1, 2, and 3. 3 envelopes. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Name one.
2.
2. Absolutely. Absolutely. To go. Change your mind. Wow. One and 2. Which one? This is 1, this is 2. Which one?
1.
1. This one? To stay or to go?
Stay.
This one stays? Not this one. This one stays. Wow. This is dramatic. All right. You're going to go home and say, we saw Barry Richardson replicate what Robert Houdin did for time and time and time on a stage. A bill was borrowed, a $1 bill. It's a unique number spoken out. The bill was signed by a woman of virtue. The corner was held by a man of integrity. The free choice, 2 were destroyed. How could this be? And now, this demonstration works 1 out of 3 times. If I could please borrow a $10 bill. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really been fun being with you. Have you had days like this in your life? And my mother taught me, when this happens, what you do is you stand in front of a metaphorical mirror, naked, and you look at yourself and you say, you know what? God loves me. The sun's going to come up again. Life is like that. You have really been a great audience. And wait! Who has the tin? Would you come forward with the tin?
No way.
Would you open the tin? What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. God, she's lovely, isn't she? Oh, my gosh. Okay, now, I want you to pull out that little piece of paper that's there. And hold that up. The little piece of paper. The paper.
Okay.
Okay. Pull it out. Pull it out. Yes, yes. Pull it out. All right. In Louisiana, this is called Louisiana Kleenex. All right. Now, there's a organic object in there. Pull that out. Pull that out. Pull that out. Have it stand right here. Put the tin down. Put the tin down. Pick up the knife. Okay. And you're going to cut ever so carefully, right in your hand. You're going to circumnavigate this lemon. Cut around it. Easy there. Yeah, through it. About a quarter of an inch. You're doing fine. All the way around it. All the way around it. Oh, that's so good. That's good. That's good. Put the knife down. And now here we come. Put your thumbs into the lemon. Pull that lemon apart. Pull it apart. There's a piece of green paper in there. Pull out that little piece of green paper. Pull out that little piece of green paper. Pull it out. Open up. The paper is a Federal Reserve note. It's a $1 Federal Reserve note. But it cannot be the same one we saw. No way. But we have 3 ways of knowing, do we not? First of all, the bill has a unique number. Who has the corner? Who has the corner? What number do you have on your corner?
K 540666766F.
Is that correct? Yes. Secondly, we tore this bill in that fancy word called irregular. You can go back to it. Thank you. We did it in a regular way. If we look, watch, you can come later, and you'll see that the bill fits perfectly, will fit perfectly, because that is its home. And lastly, this bill, this unique bill with a unique number, was signed by a man. Was it a man? A woman. A woman of virtue. All right, now if I accosted you going up the church stairs on Sunday where you belong, and I said to you, one question, just yes or no, in your virtuous voice, one question. Is this the mark you made on the bill? Yes or no?
Yes.
Real loud.
Yes.
Real loud.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Who gave me the bill? Who gave me the bill? You have the bill? Who gave me the bill? Who doesn't have the bill? We thank you so much. And because it's good to be so generous. My dog, Happy, in Louisiana, asked me to give you this $5. Thank you very much. You have been such a nice audience. And I learned from a very important person to me who had very little, that you can do things when you don't have very much. And one thing you can do is give people a smile. It doesn't cost anything. Unlike if I give you an apple, I don't have an apple. But if I give you a smile, if I give you an affirmation, if I say you really have gorgeous eyes and I mean it, it doesn't cost me anything. And I've given something. And this happens to people that make music. If they make music, which God made me that I don't really hear music the way you do. But if you hear music, your soul can sing. And you now own that, and that's with you. And that's also true for poetry. And poetry is a way to capture a lot. That's what a song really is. To capture a lot and a little. It's very economic. And best poetry is universal. It's understood by people everywhere, any place. We'll do more of that later. So for you, a demonstration. Would you fill this up a little bit more? My glass up a little bit more. Just fill it up. Amy Dickinson, who may end up being one of the most important poets of the 20th century, who was a hermit, you know, and they just discovered another 150 of her poems, and she's appreciated around the world, said this: we never know how high we are. She's just a little thing. We never know how high we are, not physical height. We never know how high we are till we are called to rise. I don't want to be in the back of the bus. We never know how high we are till we are called to rise. Who calls you? We never know how high we are, says Amy Dickinson, till we are called to rise. And then, if we're in good form, our statures reach the skies. Oh, the heroisms we'd recite would be a daily thing. Did not ourselves, not our rabbi, not our priest, not our mother, did not ourselves our cubits warp for fear to be a king, for fear to be a queen. And if we're one place in life, we have the right to change. So I could have been born Presbyterian and I could end up loving Judaism. I could be born, I could be in a marriage which is horrible and bad for everyone. I have the right to choose to be something else. I could be a job that pays me a lot but doesn't fill me up. I can choose that. I can choose so much in my life without hurting others in most cases. But anytime we make a choice, there's a risk. Anytime I do a demonstration, there's a risk. And for you, my friends, see what that means. Come to the edge. But it's so high. Come to the edge. But I might fall. Come to the edge. So she came. And he pushed her. And she flew. And let's end, you're a great audience, let's end, the real magic is the magic of your mind. The real magic is relationships. The real magic is that we live in a place where there's liberty, we can try, and we don't always make it, but life gets on, right? And wealth and power and having your picture on Time magazine may be great, but you know, when it's all through, it's not, at 75, I can tell you that's not important. And Hedda Gold wrote this poem for me, and she wrote it for you, and we'll conclude our first session with her poem. And it's called To Risk. To laugh is to risk being thought a fool. To reach out for someone is to risk involvement. To place your ideas, know your dreams before the crowd is to risk losing them. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. To live is to risk dying. To love is to risk not being loved in return. But risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. He, she who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. She may avoid suffering and sorrow, but she simply can never learn, change, grow, love, in short, live. Enchained by her own certitude, she's a slave. Only a person who risks can be free. Thank you. Oh, ovation position is one of my favorite tricks because it generates so much energy in the audience. And I use a tube from tennis balls. Originally I used the glass, but it's startling to see this occur. So let's see what's involved. There are no moving parts. There are no gimmicks. The glass goes in your back pocket, assuming you're right-handed. So it will go in my back pocket, like so. If I turn, you can see where that is. And I will do this twice. So I go through the alphabet backwards, but you don't have to do that. You could say a poem, you could say something else, or just ignore that. So we go through the process of taking off the jacket, just as you normally would, and watch what happens. It falls off my shoulder. My right hand normally falls right back to the glass, pulls up through the sleeve, and we have a glass of water. Big surprise. Now let's do it again, and I want to show you how it looks in the back. So I take off my jacket, watch what happens. My right hand goes back, picks it up, pulls it up through the sleeve, and we've produced a glass of water. Ovation position. You know, it's very difficult to see what's actually happening because of the material of my coat. So let me have a invisible coat on, and this is how it looks. Comes up through my sleeve, and we have a glass of water. The The invisible knot routine is one of my favorite 10 tricks because with a piece of rope, you're able to entertain 5 people or 2,000. Now, the basic idea, you know, is the first trick in the Encyclopedia of Rope Tricks. And it's found in Boy Scout handbooks. It's the basic impossible knot. So we have the routine. So I will do it slowly, but basically one knows what that is. Now the virtue of this trick, according to Martin Gardner, who thinks it's one of the most visible and beautiful tricks in magic, is that the knot appears, watch this, the knot appears, right here, not where the dirty work occurs. So we go through the business of tying the invisible knot, and we don't have to do it quickly. We make the knot, and notice when I turn to the audience, I say, "Oh, did you see what that man did?" I pull the rope apart, that they're very clear that this occurred, and I ask for applause. Then we raise the stake, and we tie the knot. And this is a very, very curious thing that occurs, because when we tie the knots on my finger, and we'd say, let's do it in slow motion. Now we're doing the same knot. You can watch how it's happening. Slowly, same knot, there's no movement. But the nature of the movement through space is that when the knots are taken off my hands, off my fingers, a knot appears in the rope. And that really is startling and amazing to me. Then I go through the business of how one could tie a knot in many ways. And so I say how we could do this and what it's about. And then I end the routine after we've established, is it possible to tie a knot in a rope without letting go of the ends? And the audience says, yeah, I believe it is. Now I ask, is it possible to untie a knot without letting go of the ends? And I say, what do you think? Is it possible? Watch my right hand, watch my left hand. And I slowly turn, and I come back, and the knot is gone. Now, how does that happen? It happens because we have a reel, and the reel has a monofilament. And let me try to show you slowly what's involved in making the knot. The right hand tosses the rope over the left. The hand holding the reel goes to the left first and second fingers and pulls the reel out. The hand goes through. We're making the same kind of false knot. We pull our hands apart, and we have a knot which is supported by the thread. And of course, when I release the end of the thread, the knot disappears. Let me show you one more time. The reel is in my right hand. We'll make a little tighter knot. The right hand goes over the left. The reel approaches the left hand. The thread is pulled out and held by the thumb, first and second fingers. The knot is tied. It's a false knot. It's being supported by the thread. We can make it tighter. Visually, it looks very good. And when we release it, the knot vanishes. If you want to practice, do the knot and put your finger in. And you'll see that's all we're doing. But instead of your finger being there, you have a thread that runs at that same spot, which will release the knot. Hi, this is my friend Michael Weber. Many of you know him, and I want to thank you very much for coming to
Thanks
help
for
me.
Inviting me.
Do you have any questions or observations about what we've been doing?
Let's talk about the rope trick first. You start out with I think the GW Hunter Impossible
Exactly.
right, without letting go of the ends. And it's in print a lot of places. You mentioned the Encyclopedia of Rope Tricks, but maybe it would help if you went through it step by step, and then I'll kind of do it turned a little bit so we get it, you doing it head on and me doing it
Fine.
hands back. Because you need to do this twice, right? Once normally, and then you do exactly the same knot again with the knots on your fingers.
We do it actually 3 times. We're going to do it several times.
Okay.
So we'll be, all right, basically we hold the ends like this.
So I'll be the home view.
Yes. And it goes over our wrists on the inside. The wrap, it goes around, it goes into the hole.
And we're now going, there's actually 2 places it can go, and I don't want to go in above that line. I want to go in under that line, right?
Very, very, very good. Wrap, it comes out and around.
And now it's when I'm coming back through that upper part of the figure 8.
Pull our wrists apart.
And it should make that figure 8.
Mm-hmm. And this is the lovely and amazing part of this trick, is that in the course of turning your hands over, allowing the loops to fall over,
I'll let you do it first.
we secretly grasp the other piece which goes through the loop. We'll show this again.
And from the front, it looks like a normal figure 8, but from the back, there's actually this extra loop right here. And that's the piece we have to have this end slip out of to turn this almost knot into an actual knot. And it happens as we let the larger loops fall off. What will naturally happen is our hand will be able to allow, right here's the action, allow that piece to slip out at the top as we regrasp it. And as that falls down, that makes our knot.
Very good. Let's try it one more time. One more time. And the interesting thing about this is that the end slips through one end, but the knot appears on the other end, which is stunning, I think. So here we do it again. Do it slowly. Go around. Go down through the center. Come back. Pull it apart. And look how this is right now. Watch, I'm going to do it very slowly. Turn my hands. And look, the knot appears over by my left hand. And that is the impossible knot.
Great. I'm going to have Barry show us now how to do the vanishing knot that uses the reel. Let me ask one question first. When do you go for the reel? Do you use some sort of interaction for the cover?
You know what? I could be more clever, but I don't. The trick is supposedly over. I drop the rope, and I'd say, oh, I'm going to ask another question. I put my hand in my pocket, or I pick the reel off the table. At one time, I tried to keep the reel the whole time. It's not worth it.
Okay.
It works fine. It works fine. Very good question.
So let's talk about this. I'm going to use a piece of darkened cord instead of a reel so that it'll stay out the whole time. So we'll just imagine that this is the reel inside my right hand. And we start out with a rope, and I'll do it back to the camera as you do it front on with an actual reel. So
the reel's in my hand.
And we cross the end of the right rope over the left and pinch it with the left thumb. And now the right hand is going to reach up underneath what is the lowermost rope. It's the one pointing to the right. And we're just going to leave the bead or the knot there and pinch that under with the forefinger and thumb of the left hand. And now I'm going to bring my hand around, letting out the thread of the reel. And as I'm spooling out the thread, I come up and grab this end. And I'm still holding the bead here between left forefinger and thumb. And now as I pull this piece of rope under, the only thing making this look like a knot is the taut piece of string right there holding it together. Because if we take a look at it, this is really just a piece of rope crossed in one place. But it's crossed over that string, which is what makes it look like a knot.
Well, it is.
I've got what you've got.
Perfect. Okay, we're doing it.
And then when you can actually pull your hands out and let it get smaller.
Yeah, exactly. You've got it.
Then when you release the reel with the left fingertips, and you choose not to make this visible, but to do it in the turn of the action. Right. So if I let go, that's going to fall apart, and the reel will naturally retract up into the hand.
Very good. Let's do it one more time.
Sure.
Very good explanation. Okay? So the right goes over the left.
And again, the reel is not involved yet,
No. We steal the bead underneath.
right? I
Thumb.
pinch it between left forefinger and thumb. Got it.
Pull down. Hand goes back under that rope, catches the end, makes a false knot.
And it's actually the tautness that makes it look like a knot.
And we release it and it goes.
Good, good.
Very good. Good job, Michael.
I have a good teacher, Barry.
Yeah. Okay, this is a classic trick, and again, probably one of my 10 favorite tricks because it can be done anywhere, anytime with a regular deck of cards. There are no envelopes, there are no false counts, there are no handkerchiefs. It's a trick. And it's a trick that can be done for 5 or for 5,000. Here's the basic mechanics. I turn to a person on my right, and I ask that person to shuffle the cards and to count 10 cards. Incidentally, 10 is a good number because it gets confusing with less. While they're doing that, I count off 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, and put the 3 cards palmed into my right hand. I turn to a woman over at the left, ask her to shuffle those cards and to count out 10 cards. She's counting out 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I come back and I say, how many cards do you have? And she said, 10. I'd say, count them out again, please. And she does. I do that slowly. It's important that I don't touch the cards. Take the cards. So I have added 3 cards as I push the cards forward. And then I say to the woman, assemble the cards and assume that it's a airplane hanger and lock them into your hand. How many cards do you have? 10 cards. She locks them into her hand. I'm back over here, and the woman has 10 cards. And I said, will you do me a favor? Will you take 1, 2, 3 cards and give it to your associate over there? Then take 1, 2, 3, 4 cards and give it to the other person over here. And what I've done is gotten 7 cards, which I want. And then I take these 7 cards and place them into my palm. And I may either pass them into my palm or just put them in my, it doesn't make, they're so busy. So they have over here, they spread their cards out. They have 10 cards, and I'd say, oh, give 3 to this person over there, 4 to this person over there. And then I ask them to just think of the card, remember that card, and collect the cards. 4 and 3 or 7, 3 or 10, they collect the cards. Are you sure you have 10? She may count. These cards go down. The person comes forward. She comes forward. And I say to her, her hand's like this, and I put my hand out, and I say, and I point over here, take the cards. Is that okay? And I point over here, and I say, do you see how she's holding her cards? Do you see how she's holding her cards? And when she does that, I've really shown this hand empty. As she does that, I have switched my hidden cards for her cards. So let's do that one more time. She's holding her cards over here. The other woman comes forward. I put my hand out, which is a signal for her to put the cards in my hand. I move the cards here. Here's the position for a palm-to-palm change. And I misdirect her by saying, do you see how she's holding her cards over there? She has to look. The audience looks. My hand comes right on top, and we have the exchange. My other hand now looks empty. And she puts it down into her hand, and I do the same thing. I say, now hold your hands like this. And then I come back, and a trick that's taught by Tim Conover, if you put your thumb and first finger together, you'll look natural, and things will look right, apparently. All right, now we go through the business of the whole audience moving the cards. And we use the old joke, but it's still a great one, when I say, and now we're going to make the cards go back, and I'm playing Mr. Blackstone. And after a while, if I become uncomfortable holding the cards, I put my thumbs into my belt, because I'm Mr. Blackstone. And Mr. Blackstone had a deep voice, and he said, and we go through the business, and the hard thing is to make it go back. And they're laughing, and we have the whole audience applauding and doing things. And then I turn to her and I say, one at a time, cards hidden here, one at a time, count those cards in my hand. And she counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I drop the cards. And I turn, and over here, and the count is slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the audience likes that trick, likes the trick, and they're going to start to applaud. And I bow, the palm cards in my hand, these are 10 cards, go on top. And I said, and I fan the cards now. I fan the cards. I actually have 20 cards, 23 cards. I fan the cards, and I say, but you only thought of a card. What card did you think of? The 3 of spades, and the 9 of diamonds, and the King of spades. I pull the cards up. And I say, with your assistance, the cards went over space and time, cards that you never mention, only know. And this is what changed my life, when Mr. Blackstone showed the King of spades, the 9 of diamonds, and the 3 of spades.
Okay, so I'd like you to talk us through some aspects of the airplane cards, which is your handling of cards across.
Right.
And it's not just 3 cards across, it's 3 thought of cards across.
Yes.
But there's no envelopes. It's not like the Zen's trick.
It is the Zen trick.
Without the envelopes.
Without the envelopes, without duplicate cards, without any preparation.
That's
Anytime,
what I said.
any place.
That's
right.
what I said. It's not the Zen's trick.
You're right.
So,
You're right. Okay.
no, well, your trick is better. But what this has, in addition to lots of really nice kind of spectator management and some beats, some very good theater to it, there's a lot of palming. I think that's what folks watching this are going to think about is you're holding out cards for most of this trick. So can we talk a little bit about
Sure.
when you get those cards?
Sure.
You did mention about holding on to the belt buckle
Right.
or the edge of the pants at some point, or Tim's really great tip on the rest position with the forefinger and thumb. And then you've got body cover over here. But let's just kind of go through the beats of where those palms are.
Sure. Do we want to do adding the cards or not? Not to worry about that.
Well, it seemed pretty straightforward to me. It's
Nothing.
you're just kind of capping the
Right.
group. You're just
Pushing them forward.
so it's covered by an action.
And the trick hasn't started. This whole thing's over before it starts. The trick's over. Okay, so then the second person has 10 cards.
Right.
And what we're going to do is I want to take 7 cards off the top. So I tell them to take 1, 2, 3 to hand it to someone else. 1, 2, 3, 4 to hand it to someone else. They're doing that. I take the cards and really just put it back underneath. And when I'm here, that doesn't make any difference. If we can see, we go about our business.
Well, that's terrific. So what's really nice about this is instead of trying to do a pinky count or doing some kind of subtle push-off that we wonder what that's about, you're very openly counting the groups out that they're going to hand out. Then when you've got those 7 cards, you are literally putting them into palm position. And the first person I saw do this, who I think published it, was Don England, and really fooled me by showing a card and then placing it into the pack, and he just placed it into bottom palm.
Very well done. Very well done.
So that's all we're really doing is it just looks like we're putting the cards back into the pack, but you're placing them right into.
Right. So
would be that
mine
bottom
isn't
palm
as
or top
smooth,
position.
but the idea is the same. That I'm going to all right, just put them underneath. Right?
So you're actually doing it by holding with the thumb here at the upper left
I'm
corner,
really just going to put them in.
and the
palm.
forefinger and thumb on the ends, and you're just placing it right there.
Yeah, and square them up. And then I'm going to use the cards to hide
Great.
it. So I'm still talking, doing something. I'm going to hold on to these cards for a while. Then I put the cards down. I go like this, put the cards down. And the woman will put my hand out, which is a signal to hand me the cards. I'll take the cards from her, these are over here, and place it into my hand here. So the cards are hidden here, but are here. Then I will point to the person over there. Do you see how they're locked over there? And when we all look over there. My hand comes on top. Just regular palm position comes on top and moves away.
It's like the Erdnase palm-to-palm change.
It is. That's what it is, I believe.
Right? So maybe one little tip here.
Yeah.
First of all, the really great thing about this that you do at this point, why this is so well covered, is because you're telling her that you want her to do what that other person is doing. And as you said, she has no choice but to look over and see, well, what is it exactly? And now everyone else is going to be interested. How is she holding the card so wonderfully that we have to mimic that behavior? Mm-hmm. So you've really got everyone looking over there. No one's going to, except magicians, they're going to be burning your hands. And then I think it's helpful to keep the thumb in unnaturally until you get to here. And then what you are really thinking about is just picking up this lower packet by the sides. And to do that, your hand naturally has to now thumb open and grab those. And if this is the only action, lifting that, the other one takes care of itself, right?
Sounds good. Sounds good. So I think we're basically doing the same thing. It comes
of course.
over,
Yep, that's it.
And
up.
It's the same.
It's exactly
palm
the
to
same.
palm. My friend Fred Robinson, I did this a lot, said it's totally illogical move and flies by because the cards are horizontal.
The orientation changes.
And it changes to this.
The Al Baker billet switch out of Al Baker's Mental Magic is exactly the same way. Something pointing left to right ends up pointing right to left, and it shouldn't. It kind of really changes orientation.
So now after the switch, we're here, but what we've been able to do is to point showing this hand empty. We'll come back the same way and say, put your hand out like this, and then she takes the cards, and I come back, and now we're going to have to hold on to these cards for some time.
Right.
Okay. So I'm comfortable with the cards. So people have to learn to be comfortable holding on to the cards.
And this is something that, how would you recommend that they get comfortable with that? Walk around holding on to them?
I think so, maybe. I don't know. I've done it so long. I'm just comfortable with the cards. In fact, almost too comfortable because I could flash because I forget they're here. And so to remember, I think Tim told me to always hold my finger down. That creates a tunnel. You can look through the tunnel most cases, and you can move about. And then I'm also, if you pick up something in that hand, so if you picked up a pencil, or to say, okay, we'll make the cards go across, that hides that you're comfortable with it, holding something in your hand. The other is I put my hand in my belt and I stand there, never look at my hand or worry about it.
But that's really the purpose of the magic wand, it's not only an implement of power, but when the magician was holding out, it let him do something with the dirty hand.
I think it would be very good to have that pencil, to have them go, or maybe the other way.
So now we've got these cards held out.
Right.
All the thought of cards from each of the spectators is in this hidden group.
Right.
This spectator is now holding only 7 cards because
Yes.
we did the switch out. So they count, and we realize that 3 cards have vanished.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't do anything other than just toss those on the table.
Right.
Right? And now this spectator starts to count their cards onto the table.
No, onto my hand.
Okay. And do you let them get all the way to 10 or past 13? Or
No,
all of them on?
they count 10, 11, 12, and the audience gets excited. And the person's got 13. They count 13. I'm holding the cards. So now I have 13 cards.
Right.
This hand still is holding we have 13. And the audience thinks the trick is over. I put my hand back on top and turn it over and say, but that isn't what got me. I fan the cards, hiding the other part. Now we have 23 cards, but here it is. Pull those cards out. Instead of revealing them, I pull them up when they call them, and I wait and I'd say, this is what happened. They went over space and time. Only you knew those cards. And look, there's the 5 of clubs. And again, we're in a perfect applause position.
Great. What's really nice about this, and somewhat similar to the routine with the knots and the rope, is the time you go to get the reel is at what the audience would perceive is the end of the effect.
Yes.
Because there's already been several parts of it, so it's kind of a rest position. So you've already had the successful conclusion of the announced effect. 3 cards have gone from one place to another. You counted only 7 left. They counted only 13 left. And now as the applause dies down, you're stopping them and telling them,
Right.
take a look. Let's see if they were really the ones you thought of.
Very good.
Great.
I think the other thing is I learned all sorts of false counts. There's never any counting.
Right.
If you're real clear, you have 10, you have 10, you ask you have 10, you have 10 over, you have 10. So you don't have to go through all the counting business again. It seems cleaner for me.
No, I like it. It's a great, great, great routine. Thanks.
Thank you. This is one of my favorite demonstrations. And again, there are very few moving parts. And actually, one could carry a balloon in your wallet and borrow a little spiral notebook and do the whole wonderful demonstration anytime, any place, for any size audience. Let's see what's involved. What you do is take a balloon, blow it up, burst the balloon, and take a little piece of the balloon, seal that down. I found that rubber cement isn't good, but some other type of glue it down, make a little piece. That piece is put into the balloon. Now when we blow up the balloon and rattle it, there's something inside. And you can't really tell the color. I used to worry about the color. I used to write on the balloon. That isn't necessary. All right, so now our theme is that we're going to find out if we can influence men more than women, as you saw. And I have a woman help me out by recording the information. And what might be a little novel here, and this concept could be used for other things, is that the person doing the recording is actually writing on the piece of paper, which will apparently be in the balloon. And if we look here, we'll see I have a spiral notebook, and I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, in this case, 5 little boxes, and it says 5 letters and numbers. And I have a rubber band across it, and underneath that is a folded billet, which I'll show you right now. So here is the billet that's going to appear in the balloon, and it's going to say, mind control. The first woman will select a triangle, the second will take a carrot, and the third will think of the 7 of hearts. On the back, it's going to say the 5 letters and numbers are. So this is folded, put here, like so. And then I approach the woman and I say, please help me. We're going to have some gentlemen call out letters and numbers, and what I want you to do is to record them. And I point out to the boxes, put each one in, and you have to try to be careful to use the same pen, because you don't want a red pen and blue writing. So she's over here, and she puts that in. She's going to record it. Then I select the men, and I go through the business of 0, 1, 2, 3, stamp my fingers, get a number, get the letter. So we get 5 men. She records it. I come back and say, I needed this woman to help me, and the woman's sitting up here. The balloon has been moved from person to person. And how have we done? And then I call off again the, whatever it is, K5432. I call that off again. In the meantime, I folded the billet underneath the spiral notebook, and I take that away, and I take the notebook again, and I give it to a man and say, I want you to record something. He may or may not, but I want that out of my hands. The balloon comes back, and the woman is sitting down, and I have her place the handkerchief or the scarf on her lap, which isn't necessary, but it catches the pieces. And we place the hidden message under the balloon. She places it down and covers it up. And then you stand away. And what's different now is that I go to the women. And by this time, the balloon is covered. So I go to the women in the audience, and I say, oh, I want your help. How about the first vegetable that comes to your mind? Whatever it is, carrot. And how about a geometric design like a square or a circle? Just think of it, don't say it. Maybe a triangle. And then any card. Sometimes I force the card by having a 7 of hearts on a thumb tip to hold up. Other times I just let any card come. All right, now we're through. Is it easier to manipulate men or women? I don't know. And we burst the balloon. You're away from the balloon. She opens it. The only thing to be seen is this one little piece of white paper plus all the remnants of the balloon. She opens the piece of paper and she reads. Prediction, mind control, the first one will select a triangle, the second will do a carrot, the third 7 of hearts that may or may not be true. And now for the men. Will the men stand? And she reads off 6LK2Z. And that's it.
So we're going to talk about the trick with influencing folks, and you call that?
I call it mind control.
Now, there was a version of this in print with the prediction in the balloon.
Right.
In A Boon for All Seasons.
Right.
Was it also in Pabular before that?
Possibly. I really don't recall.
Because that's where I read most of your stuff very early on, was in Pabular. And then you also had a version of this in your first book.
Right, in Theater of the Mind.
Theater of the Mind. But this is, other than the use of the balloon as the place where the prediction ends up, this is very, very different in a number of ways.
True.
I'll point out what I think are some of the really important ones. First of which is, this isn't about mind reading. This isn't about prediction. This is about influence. And I think one of the problems with a lot of guys that are doing kind of straight ahead sleight of hand magic and that want to throw in a mental magic trick, that all of a sudden you're asking people to believe that you have this great sleight of hand ability and say, oh, by the way, I also know how to read minds or predict the future. But you don't have to do that for this, because this isn't about predicting or mind reading. It's about influence. Right. And it makes sense that a magician might be able to influence their audiences. And the second thing is, you've worked out a kind of a procedure with the men versus the women here, where with the 3 women, or maybe even trying it with 5 women, so you've got a balance there. All of that information coming from them is coming after all of your work is done. Right. And in that person's lap. Now, there's some risks for that, but I think your presentation has completely covered that. Because if you get a few, that looks good. If you get them all, that's incredible. You just have to not smile too big. And if you get none of them, as this was the case, it's perfect. Because it really points out the difference between being able to influence and not influence.
Good point.
All those things said, the really giant thing you've added here, in my opinion, is you have a spectator unknowingly, not a secret stooge. You have a spectator unknowingly completely filling out your prediction billet for you. So there's not only no double writing, you never write anything. Right. You never touch a pen in front of the audience.
True.
So for the beats of this, I think you explained the structure of it pretty well. You've got a half piece of paper on top of instead of the bottom. And you mentioned out to lunch, right? And it's funny that Max Maven did all this amazing research on out to lunch. And it's funny how this little thing of a half a piece of paper, you're not really using it here in the traditional way. You're just using it so that you're starting out with a piece of paper where half of the fold is already done for you.
To hide it.
So this is almost closer to the Paul Harris trick with the card that instantly folds itself out of one of his first books.
You know so much. I don't know that.
I just read too much. So we have our prediction. You've got the back already filled out with your psychological forces. Now those can be anything. And since we don't really care if they get them wrong or not, because we know we're going to get 100% on the front end, you could put outrageous stuff back there.
Good.
If you're afraid that people already know about circles and triangles, or about the 7 of hearts and the Queen of Hearts, or 35 and 37, or Paris, you could really go someplace different back there. And if you're working for a particular group, you might be able to anticipate what someone might say.
Very good point. Very good point.
because what is it? If you hit it, it's great. If you don't hit it, it all fits in perfectly.
You are so creative. I'm
This
glad
is
I
your
know
idea,
you.
Barry.
I'm glad I
This
know
is your
you.
idea. So now you've got the spectator filling this out, and
Right.
it says 5 letters and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you say to her when you hand this over to her?
I walk up and say, will you please help me and record the information? And I'd like you to put the numbers and letters right here. And I point to it.
And you don't say in the squares, you just
No.
say right here.
Mhm.
Okay? So I'd like you to put the letters and numbers right here.
Mhm.
Terrific.
And then, of course, all we have to do is remove this.
So let's turn so that we can see this to the camera. So that's
So-
under the rubber band.
So now we just remove that. And as we're talking, I bend it back. And now I can take this off and have this in my hand. Take the balloon back, put the balloon on it, and we're all through.
Now you're asking, you kind of start to ask the other spectator, I may have you record something.
I take the book away and hand the pen and book to another spectator. And if I have the women, very good point, if I have the women reveal what they are thinking, he records it. And in the program we did a couple minutes ago, I said, I don't want you to reveal it. I want you just to hold on. I'm going to ask you later. Then we don't need him.
So then he's just kind of a caretaker.
Yeah, anyway, I want to get rid of everything. I want it away from her. We're all through.
Is there
There's
any...
some reason that I took it away. I called off those numbers or whatever for the men. Then I get rid. I could have put it down on the table.
No, I'm just trying to think this through from the logic. I think what you have is perfect. From watching from the audience, as soon as you've called off those numbers, we're done with it and we don't care about that paper anymore.
Right.
We're interested in the people.
Right.
Did you ever think of putting on anything on there so that when you hand it over to him, there's something written on there?
No, I could though. Yeah, that'd be perfect, just to have something else.
Because my thought is if you were to take this and fold some of the pages over, that you could just do this.
Sure.
And just write nonsense, because he's going to wonder, oh my goodness, he's picked somebody with the worst handwriting in the world for that woman. How's anybody going to read that?
Right.
And this could be underneath that, so that after you've done your steal there, you can hand this to him and say, here, on this side, I may ask you to record something in a moment.
Sure. You're so full of clever ideas. Thank
Yes,
you very
when
much.
it
I think that's very good.
When it comes to clever ideas, I'm full of it.
It's wonderful.
Let's talk about a moment we've got her now holding the balloon
Yes.
on the handkerchief. You mentioned before that when I had done that kind of prediction before with a balloon rolled up inside another balloon, I did use rubber cement, but you said that didn't work so well for you.
No.
Do you know what kind of glue you found that did work better?
I don't use magic glue. I use, I'm not sure what it is. But
Something I've used, that's most balloons are latex, and something I've used to hold latex balloons together very well is called shoe goo. And it's used to repair the soles of athletic shoes that are either vulcanized or some other kind of rubber. And since they're never going to see it, you can put some of that on side and roll it up. I think that would work.
The other possibility, since you don't see it, is just take the top of the balloon.
Another neck tied off?
Yeah, that's all.
Just
It's
'cause it
rattling
rattles around.
Yeah.
And now it's popped in her lap. Everything falls apart. Talk to us a little bit about your approach of who reads what's on that piece of paper.
We pop it. She opens it. I invite her to take that piece of paper and come forward to the microphone, open it. And now for the women, let's try number one. What was yours? Carrot. What did I have? Beet. Oh, what did you have? Square. I had triangle. People start laughing, wherever it is. And then we hit one. 7 of hearts. 7 of hearts. Not bad. Now for the men. Will the men please stand? And as she calls off the letters and numbers, will you demonstrate to the audience that we correctly were able to influence you? And she calls the numbers off and they sit down.
Great. Now, what's terrific about this is I found a liability of having spectators read is if you give them a block of text, you're really at the mercy of, did you get a good reader? Did you get someone who can read well and comfortably and project? But you just have them repeating words.
Right.
So they're reading one word at a time.
I'm next to the woman, too. And if there's any problem, I read it or just partially hold. You would do the same, yeah, to help
Or
her.
point to a beat.
Yeah, sure.
But you never touch the paper from start to finish
No.
in the eyes of this. I just think this is a really great thing.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing it.
Good man. Again, this is one of my favorite tricks. And for years, when I lived in Michigan, I did lots of sales management programs. This would be the trick they'd ask for, more than heavy-duty mentalism. I love this trick. There are many ways to do this trick, many, many ways. Most of them involve switching lemons or putting the bill into the lemon secretly. All right, what I think is the interesting part of this trick is that it's all subterfuge. And the major goal of the performer is absolutely to convince everyone in the audience that the random bill that was taken, is the bill in the lemon. Now, as it starts off, it's really the trick I learned as a Boy Scout with some changes. And what we do is we're going to load the bill. But we're going to load the bill in a special way. We take a dollar bill, and I tear in a regular fashion a corner of the bill. This has the numbers on it. Then I fold the bill. Let me show you how I fold the bill. I fold it, but I don't fold it even because I want them to be able to open it. I fold the bill so it's going to be kind of easier for them to open. And we roll it into a tight there it is. Then we take the lemon, and I remove the pip from the lemon. And take a pencil. Stick the pencil into the lemon. And even a slender pencil is better. Stick the pencil down into the lemon. Squeeze out a little bit of juice if it's juicy. We take the bill, we insert it into the lemon, push it down. Take the pencil again and push it down a little further. We take the pip, and we're going to put the pip back on the lemon. And I've tried lots of glues, and for me the best thing I like using is Elmer's glue. So we put the glue on it, let it dry a little bit, put a little glue on the tip, let it dry a little bit, put it on it, and it dries white, and it's very sturdy. The lemon goes into a container. The container could be a bag, it could be a tin can, it could be anything. And which may not be appropriate for you, but I use tissue because the woman that opens it later may have wet hands. I want her to be able to dry off. But I use toilet paper, and it works okay for me because I call this Louisiana Kleenex, which is for what it's worth, but you may not want to do that. The lemon goes in, the paper goes on top, and if possible, I have a little knife that would fit right inside. And a container, and a rubber band or a ribbon or whatever it is. The next step is to take the corner that we took off of our own bill, and we're going to put it under the first envelope. We have 3 envelopes. The first envelope is empty. And you noticed I put a big black spot on this envelope because I want to be able to find the envelope in a little bit. The corner is placed on top of the second envelope, and it is bent down like so. Bent down like so. Now, we go out in the audience and we borrow a dollar bill. And we say, oh, every bill is unique just like you. And if you notice, there are 8 numbers and 2 letters that make it unique. And as we do that, we fold it into quarters. Their bill. Then we pick up the envelopes. Watch what I'm going to do. Pick up the envelopes. Place the bill under the curved over quarter, remove the envelopes, place that down. I'd say, oh, we have 3 ways to identify this particular bill. One is by the numbers. And I walk up to a person and I'd say, in your manly voice, will you read off the numbers? Now the numbers they're reading off are the numbers which are on the corner, which I've just placed on top of the folded bill. So they read off the numbers. Some people worry with they generally, no one has ever. So they read off those numbers. And we say, oh, there's another way we can mark this bill so that we can identify it. And in this case, I need a man of virtue, a man of integrity. Who here is a banker or something? Do you have a pen? I have one. So we walk out to that person, and that person draws or writes something on the bill. Here I put BX, something on the bill. Don't do anything dirty, but something on that bill. All right, now we have the bill, the number called, the bill has been marked. And now we're going to do something which we say is illegal. We're going to tear a corner off the bill. So here's the extra corner. I turn it over, and I actually tear the corner of the bill. And I patter that it's illegal in any way to cut, destroy Federal Reserve notes. You could do it with coins, but not Federal Reserve notes. I tear this in what we call an irregular fashion. And we tear it down to here, just so it's hanging. Remember, the whole goal is to convince the audience that the bill that's being destroyed is the bill that's marked, serial number, and corner held. Will you tear this off? You ask the woman. She tears it off. And then you say to her, do you know what you just did? You take the corner back from her. The audience is going to start to laugh. You put it here on the back and take off the other corner. Do you know that's against the law? That's a federal crime. And I take and turn it in half, hiding the signature, but not to worry. Tell her to hold the corner in her hand, which she does. Now I have in my hand the bill and the corner. She's holding the corner from the bill in the lemon. I say, oh, here's an envelope. And I put the bill in the envelope, but not all the way. So all the pieces are in the envelope. I hand it to a woman and say, shove that in, please, and seal it down. And notice that these other envelopes have little pieces of paper. Will you seal these down? Now, my friend David Burgess once said, you know, you can use a thumb tip or something to steal the bill. You can. There are lots of ways, but you know what? $1's nothing. And not to have to remember anything, so I'm going to destroy the bill. It's cleaner. All right, so now we come back and use that wonderful business of picking the right bill. So I have three envelopes. They have free choice, but we want to end up destroying the one with the big mark on it, destroying the bill. So if they say 1, you say 1 to go, 1 to stay, and we burn that. If you're unable to burn something because of the nature of the hotel, you can drop it into say, I used to burn this, and then drop it into a water container. So 1's gone. 2 left. Magic of your mind. Take your choice. They take that. 1's left. Go through the business, open the envelope. Oh, I made a mistake. What happened? God loves me. The sun will come up again. It's like, you have been a good audience. Wait. Where is the can? Come forward. The woman comes forward with the can. And what I would do in a normal show is walk away from the stage. She's up here. I walk into the audience. And when I walk into the audience, I touch them on the shoulder. I get as close to them as many people as I can. In a very loud voice, I say, do me a favor, open that can, open the can. I get more nervous. Open the can. What's in the can? What's in the can? A sharp object. She says, a knife. Put the knife down. What else is there? And she says, a piece of paper, Kleenex. I say, oh, no. We call this Louisiana Kleenex. There's an organic thing in there. What's there? And she pulls it out, a lemon. Just an aside, I've tried this with potatoes, with bananas, in lock boxes. There's nothing, in my opinion, as good as a lemon. Maybe because it's funny, but a lemon I like. So she pulls out the lemon. The lemon's all sealed. I'd say, now do me a favor. I'm in the audience. Do me a favor. Pick up that knife and take the knife, and I say, cut in just about a 1/4 inch and circumnavigate that lemon. And the audience kind of thinks that's circumcised, and they start laughing. Cut around it just a little bit. Cut around. She cuts around. Then I'd say, put your thumbs in. You're center stage. Pull that apart. So it's big theater. She pulls that apart. In the audience, say, yeah, what? And that little piece of green paper sticking up. It's, there's a little piece of green paper, and pull out that little piece of green paper. And she pulls out the bill. She pulls out the bill. Open up that bill. She opens up the bill. She opens up the bill. It's wet. She opens it up. I say, it's a $1 bill. It's a Federal Reserve note, but it cannot be the same bill. Then I walk forward as I say that, out of the audience to her. I stand next to her. She's holding it. I turn to the person holding it over here. And I say, what number do you have on your bill? She opens it. She reads the number. What number? The same number. And the bill was torn in a irregular fashion. And I walk over to take the corner. She's holding it. I hand her the tissue so she can wipe if she wants to, and whisper to her, thank you very much. She leaves. I hold up the corner. The corner fits perfectly into the bill because that's where it came. And then I look at the bill and say, and this bill was marked by a man of integrity. Where is that man? And I'm holding this bill. I fold it over. And I say, if I accosted you going up the stairs of your church on Sunday where you belong, and I asked you just one question, which you're going to answer yes or no, holding this bill up, is this the mark you made on your bill? Then I put the corner on top of that. I go up to that person, show them, yes or no. He says yes. Louder, yes. Louder, yes. Scrunch that up. They start applauding. The bill's wet, and I reach in and take out a $5 bill, put the two together, and that's it.
So, Bear, I'm going to ask you to describe 2 particular points of the bill and lemon with us. Adding on that extra piece that they'll read the serial number off of and sign, and then at the end when you add that piece back on again in a non-secret way, but in a very subtle way to the bill that's come out of the lemon.
Fine. Here's the corner, and I folded it over like this. It's under the first envelope, like so. And normally I have a pen with a clip that clips it together. Remove that, and I don't worry about that little green or what's going on because I'm holding this folded bill. The bill goes on top of the envelopes. When I pull the envelopes away to put them down, I've loaded the bill.
So what's really nice about this is you are not adding the piece onto the bill as you slide it away. You are taking the envelopes away, and this is all staying still the whole time.
Right.
Great. And
Good
now
point.
let's see the front side of this where
Then
you have us read off the serial number.
Right, but this one is...
There's not really enough there.
Yeah. But
okay, that's fine.
Oh, here we don't even have the right. So it's here. So it'd be a bigger...
Right. Don't worry about it. And then...
So we would I'd go here.
Mm-hmm.
You, would you help me in your manly voice? Would you read off these numbers? And
Great.
That's all.
Right.
Would
you
read off these?
Right. L804448335L. Great.
Mm-hmm. That's all there's to it.
Good.
And not to worry. You ask them for it. We go back, and I'm looking for a man of integrity. Have you a pen? Here's mine. Would you write something? Nothing dirty. Something. Now do it again. Make it a little larger. You'll recognize that. Yes. Come back. We come back, and then we do the tear. Say, oh, this isn't lawful. So I do the tear.
All the way down to the end.
Yeah, and just have a little corner hanging out. Ask the person, woman of virtue, in my case, to pull that off. Oh, do you know what you've done? I take that back, put it on top. What you've done is not legal. I want you to hold the piece in your hand. They're all laughing, doing something else. We come back with the little pieces. Pieces go to the envelope. Notice how dark that little thing is. I don't put it all the way in. I just put it partly in, hand it to someone. Stick it all the way in, seal it down, go through the business. Exactly as Robert, who did it. The secret went to his grave. You pick the one you want, and that's the trick.
A couple of things.
Sure.
The first of which is, let's talk about the switch is terrific because it's done in the offbeat. The spectator tearing off that last piece is so strong. There's kind of really no question that that is the piece that came off the bill, even though it goes back on and gets flipped over because you've got the joke to cover that switch. Leaving the bill out, so they tuck it in the rest of the way, so there's no thumb tip nonsense or question as to whether or not it went in. When you're holding up the 3 envelopes and having them select one, you're just kind of using equivoke or equivocate, a Hobson's choice of whatever they say.
Exactly.
All you know for certain is you're going to destroy the one that has the bill in it.
Right.
So not to kind of belabor that too much.
No. So if they would say 2, I'd say 2 to go or 2 to stay. And if they say to go, I let it go. Just it's sure to stay. And we do the other one.
Okay. And my prediction is that most folks are going to miss how great this is because they can't get over actually burning the dollar.
I think that's true.
That they'll tear up a gimmick card that costs $7 to replace.
If I were back on the road, I'd only do this with 5s or 10s.
And you'd still burn it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just so clean, there's no question. My guess is that Magician's washing this the first time. Of many aspects of it that really fooled them, one of them they just couldn't figure out is when you stole that piece, when you stole the bill back out again. Let's talk a little bit about the staging of this, because you've really made this something very theatrical in leaving the woman spectator on stage. She does all of that cutting open so that she's really kind of framed there from a safety issue. Are you ever worried about the spectator cutting herself with that knife? No. You only use grown-ups that know how to handle a sharp object?
Right, sure.
So she cuts that open. There's the bill. We've got the corner out there. The identification is made. The serial numbers match. Now you kind of run back up to take credit. Now it seemed from the performance that your spectators know when they're supposed to leave the stage without you telling them to go back to their seats or kind of stopping traffic.
I tell her. So I come back, and she's opening the bill. Oh, it's a Federal Reserve note. It can't be the same Federal Reserve note. By then I'm there. She has it open. It's wet. But we know, we have 3 ways of knowing, do we not? First of all, what is the number? She's going to read the number. She's holding the bill, reading the number. Person over there, now, what's your number? The numbers are the same. It may have your corner. Look, the corners match because that's its home, and that's exactly where it belongs. I take the paper, hand it to her. Thank you very much. You can go back.
So you whisper, thank you very much, you can go back, with a little wink.
Yeah. And
they get it.
Oh, yeah. She's gone. And then, and we have a third way of knowing, do we not? Now hold up the bill. This bill was marked by a man. Where is that man? You know, go through the business. Yes, yes, yes. Roll that up, throw that back, and give him 5.
And you get him to swear.
Yeah. No, if he's going to church on Sunday, it's yes, yes, yes. That's it.
Great. It's just terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is, again, one of my favorite tricks, and I love it because it's an applause getter. And what's involved is so simple. And let me tell you how to construct the glass. You can use any size glass. Originally, I used 12-ounce glass. This, I believe, is about a 20-ounce or 24-ounce glass. I went to a jeweler and asked him to have the smallest little drill to drill 3 holes. And you can find a diagram for this in Theater of the Mind, but you're smart enough to catch on to what's involved. There's 1 hole right over here, and another 2 small holes right across from it. And I'm going to thread it through with a piece of fishing line. And my guess is that this line must be about a 3-pound line or 4-pound line. The nature of fishing line, as you know, is that it's not visible when it's in the water. That's one of the functions of the line. I take the fishing line, put it through the one end of the glass and tie a knot. If we look carefully, we can see the knot. There's a knot. I put the line through on the other side, weave it through, and tie it. And then put a little bit of glue on either side to close those real small holes, and a little bit over here to close the holes. So if we're real clear, we have a normal glass with a piece of monofilament passing through about 1.5 inches from the top. Now, one thing I found that makes the trick interesting, rather than it used to be like a bar gag that was done quickly, that makes it, first I made it bigger. Secondly, I'm using a weird thing is a spoon, a wooden spoon. And the third little movement I think changes the trick a lot is that I hand the glass normally to someone sitting in front and either hand them another glass or they take the water glass off their table. I'd say, do me a favor and fill the glass to the top. In doing this, we don't have to, it's a glass. The other thing is how I suspend the glass. Personally, I don't like things that float. I always think there's a string. I love suspension. That's a little bit different. I used to lift the glass, but Max Maven told me that in Japan, that's a very aggressive move. And much more dramatic is not to lift the glass, is to remove your fingers. And that just generates much more tension. So what we're involved in here is the spoon. If you could see, has a little cut in it, a small little cut in the spoon, which allows the thread to hook onto it. A little cut that I made with a knife. And so we go here, and we're going to take our time because we're doing something that's absolutely extraordinary. But it looks so ordinary. We take our time, and I hook the spoon onto the thread, and I get in the center where it's balanced. Rather than removing my fingers or lifting it, I let my face and my expression and my body show that something, I really concentrate. I'm only going to look at the glass, not at the audience, as if my mind somehow is sealing that. My fingers will move away. I'm barely supporting it. And then you remove it. And audience, and there'll be a gasp. And I just lift it a little bit. And then it comes down. And immediately I release it. And then the dramatic thing is when you do the long pour. And you're in applause position.
So Barry, in your first book, you have two versions of a trick called suspension of belief.
Right.
And the first one is earlier on in the book, and it uses a metal spoon in an ungimmicked water glass.
Right, or you could do it at McDonald's with a paper cup.
With a paper cup or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then later on in the book, this is version 2, and this is kind of a much bigger stage version.
This is a stage version, yes.
And where did you first learn about the kind of the notion of suspending a wand or a stick in a glass?
Probably, it could be 30 years ago, Pat Page ended his little cabaret show with a mug of beer and a wand. He stuck the wand into it and suspended it, and then he opened his hand, and the wand was
stuck to him.
Stuck to the finger somehow, and it was very dramatic. He took it off. It's very nice.
Great.
So then I asked him how he made the glass. And he was the one that told me about the 2 holes and how to put it through.
Let's talk about this for a minute. Because when you read the book, even though the explanation is exactly correct, it's hard to understand why. So there's 1 hole here, 2 holes side by side right here, and the reason is because it's very easy to tie the knot in the monofilament here and glue it down, but to then pull this string taut and tie a knot and have this still remain the correct length, not so easy.
No.
So what you do is tie it off here, bring it through 1 hole, back through, and now going out and back in again, it's much easier to loop this around and pull it taut to make the knot because you're tying around this little space in between them.
And the other advantage is you're tying the knot on the inside, so we don't have this other little
not on the
it's
outside.
much smoother. But I'll say that although this isn't in horrible shape, you let this get knocked around a little bit.
Yes.
It looks great from the audience, but on stage it's probably good that it's got a few dings and things so that this stuff doesn't stand out so much.
It does. And I used to have the little label, 49 cents from right on here.
You're all class.
And I put it right here, right over the little spot. But there's no reason to have it.
But it's never going to be facing the audience.
Right. Well, right.
Because when you're suspending it, you're always going to have the thread in that direction.
Not to have it.
The other thing is, I noticed, and I just realized this looking at your spoon today, that inside the book, the description shows a V-angled slot that you would almost hook the thread on.
Right.
And this, when I look at your spoon, this is a very straight slot, like
Absolutely.
a mouth, and it goes just past center. And this allows you...
So the weight of the water is suspended on the thread. Excuse me. So it's very easy to get it in and on and off, and the weight is holding it.
Right, against kind of the tooth of the wood. So you wouldn't want to make this out of a plastic spoon this size.
No.
The wood is really going to help hold that thread a little bit. And then it also allows you to release just by, you could twist the spoon or move it away just the slightest amount.
And the other thing that I like is I like to appear to be very nervous. I like my face and my hands.
Unsure?
Because what's happening is not ordinary in any way. And I want my whole body, my face, and now I am concentrating on balancing that thread on that spoon. Because if I move, it's going to fall off. So it makes me do emotionally and show what I'm thinking. And I really watch that the whole time. So if we're doing this, it's no trick. If I'm doing this, my mind or something's going on that's so special. And then when it comes down, drop that. And then the long pause is where you get the applause.
A couple of thoughts, the first of which is this glass you use is a little bit shorter than the one you use for ovation position that you opened up the set with.
Right.
Do you think it would be possible, since that's a plastic glass also, since you're using that tennis thing, to maybe gaff that so that you could produce the glass at the beginning, maybe drink from it, at the end let the spectator refill it?
You could. This has the virtue of having a wider mouth.
And it also has the reeded nature.
And it's a glass. Years ago, you said to me, "Why don't you have a colored liquid in the
something they could see?"
And now I fill that glass not as full, and sometimes I pour it out if I'm not going to do this. But if I'm going to do this, this then becomes the glass I hand to the woman.
Great.
And say, "Will you fill it to the top?" And she's using that water.
So now it makes sense.
Michael, that little step changes the audience view of the glass.
No question.
When you just hand them the glass and say, "Don't fill it all up," it's all over.
It's great. Really great.
So how to do a lot with a little.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Janie and I have never seen $3 million houses, $4 million houses before, and they're all up and down this block. It's amazing. But you know what? Our house is nicer. It's like it's $240,000 in Shreveport, Louisiana.
We'll talk about it at the top, and then I'll ask you about the specifics.
Okay.
Okay, cameras rolling. Flash and capture. Take a good picture.
We can talk to work.
Good man.
That's the illusion.
Look at him, skinny guy. We can hardly see you.
I'm mostly here.
He's quick. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
Tell me the name of this kind of prediction trick with all the people, the influence trick.
I think I called it mind control. Is that what I did? Yeah.
And this is similar to...
Let's start it again, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead.
We've got Lewis answering the hypothetical questions over there.
No, that was good.
Go